Do you believe in fairies and have a curious mind?
Have you had a close encounter of the fairy kind?
Join us, your Fae guides, to enchantment and lore.
Pixies, goblins, elves, mermaids, and more.
Conversations vast and varied.
As we ponder,
What the fairy? Hello and welcome to What the Fairy. Tonight we are going to be talking about altars, fairy altars, and maybe some adjacent topics as well. This was something that I don't have a lot of knowledge on, so I'm actually really curious to hear what Claire and Emma have to say. So, of course, I'm here with Claire. Hello, Claire.
hello.
And Emma. Hi, Emma.
Hi, hello everyone.
And I'm Anastasia. So, yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about the topic of fairy altars. If someone could tell me what that means to them, I would love to know. So, maybe Claire, you could tell me what a fairy altar means to you, or an altar in general. I don't know.
For me, it's a space to commune with the fairies in relation to fairies. I'm going to be sharing about altars, fairy altars in nature. I think Emma's going to be talking about your altar space and creating an altar in
In
your
the
home. Is
home.
that right, Emma?
Yeah.
In my home, yes. Yes, I'm going
Yeah.
to talk about that. I mean, an altar for me, I'm quite lucky that in my home I've got the space to have, an altar set up. And it's definitely somewhere that is personal to every individual. Every altar is different. I think there is no right or wrong way of creating one. And obviously we're talking about it in regards to sort of connecting or communing with fairies and leaving offerings and things, but you can have altars for different things as well. You can have an altar for your ancestors, or one for healing, or one for abundance. You can tie sort of different elements in to one space, or you don't necessarily have to have one at all, because it's a lot to do with your own intention and your own sort of energies, really. But I'm quite a visual person, and like I said, I'm lucky enough to have a safe space to create one, and access to have things to put on it. But what people put on them, varies greatly depending on the person and whatever. But I like to change mine up with the seasons as well. For different Sabbats, I really love having a space in my home where I can stay really in tune with the seasons and the elements as well. But it grows and shifts and changes as the seasons do and as people do. So I think when I first started creating an altar space at home, it was very basic. I didn't really have that much on it, but over time I've made things, DIY'd a wand and a a broom and all different items like that. So it's grown with what I actually put on it. Some things stay the same as well, like certain candle holders I keep on no matter what season they are. So yeah, it really just depends what you want to put on it. But I mean, at the moment I always have smudge sticks on there. I've got a representation for one of my spirit animals, the bear. I've got obviously fairies on there, and flowers at the minute because it's summertime, so it's very flowery. And my crystals that I have on there are pink. I've got a lot of rose quartz on there at the minute to help with self-love and things. And it's also a space where I do card readings, oracle cards or tarot cards. I keep them on the altar. And it is, for me, it's a personal, private space. I don't particularly like anybody else touching anything on there. I charge items on there. So at the minute, I've actually got like a new crystal necklace that I've acquired. I've got that charging on my altar on a bit of selenite to help just neutralize all the energies before I wear it or charge it and wear it. But yeah, it's a place that is sacred to you. It's sort of away from the mundane world, so you can sit at it to leave offerings, connect, just center yourself, find answers, if you're doing any divination or anything there, and obviously leave blessings, leave offerings to fairies or goddesses or whoever you have in your spirit team, really. But it's something that I really enjoy doing. How about you, Claire? Do you?
Well, before Claire goes on, I did want to say that, Emma, there were some things you wanted to say about yourself that I think definitely contribute to the making of your altar, like being a witch and being creative. I don't know. You want to?
Yeah, creative. Yeah. And I'm a medium. I do commune with spirit. That's obviously human and fae. Yeah, I do have quite a strong connection there. So I think
does altar space play into?
Yeah, I think an altar for me, it's a place to help me channel that. Like I said, it's definitely sacred. I can center myself, do a circle. It's very safe, protective, grounding. I'll journal at my altar. I'll have a cry at my altar. It's a space just for me to center myself, give thanks, find a bit of peace, reflect. So yeah, it's a powerful place.
Sounds like it. Sorry for interrupting you, Claire. Please
No,
go ahead.
I was going to say the same, that I wanted to hear more about Emma, your mediumship and other skills that you have, your psychic life, if you like. Because known you for I've interviewed you a couple of times, known you a couple of years, and every time I've spoken to you and just being part of this as well, there's so much knowledge you have of the other world and working with spirits, and I think we need to know more about you, Emma. Yeah, because
but yeah, I've always had that connection ever since childhood. And obviously when you're younger, you can't sort of rationalize what's happening to you or understand it. So it takes time and practice, really, get used to it all. And I think for a little while I did shut it all down because it just scared me too much. But as I've got older again, I've opened up to it, and just happens really now without me necessarily even knowing it's going to. I can just be out walking in nature and I'm like, oh, okay, there's I've had it. There's blackberry fairies, beautiful blackberry bush with all the fruit on. I've drawn those. I'll have to share that at some point. But yeah, it's like a focal point to have your altar. It sort of helps bring it all together. But if you're wanting to obviously have specifically a fairy altar in your home, anything to do with nature, you can add to your altar. Particularly different seasons, you can put little pumpkins on for autumn, or leaves, fallen leaves, just twigs, moss, stones, anything like that. And it's good to have the representations of all the different elements as well. I think sometimes you don't have to, just do sort of what feels right for you, what you feel called to put on it. But sometimes having a representation of all the elements is good. Obviously the fairies like that, don't they? Different crystals as well that can help you connect with them.
What would you
Yeah.
recommend for fairy connection, crystals
Um,
wise?
crystal wise, I always go for amethyst. To me, feels
Mm.
very fairy. I don't know about you too.
Mm. Yeah, I've got an amethyst here actually, right next to me. It's Amethyst Point.
Yeah,
Mm.
the rougher
Yeah.
the better as well. I like rough
Yeah.
crystals. I do
Mm.
like polished ones as well, but there's something about having a
Yeah. The
rough one, isn't there?
natural thought. Thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Moonstone always feels really fairy to me as well,
Mm.
and anything green
Yeah.
too.
That's their color.
Yeah, and obviously, like I said, at the minute I've got rose quartz on there and a strawberry quartz point. Strawberry for summer makes me think
Oh,
of joyful little fairies. Self
amazing. And
love.
do you have any protection that you put around your altar?
Yes, I do. I do cast circles. If I'm going to be doing any work there, that's even divination. If I'm going to be trying to connect with any guides or ancestors or anything like that, I always do cast a circle around. I do, particularly at the darker times of year. I do put obsidian and things like those type of crystals, the darker stones, on
Mm.
my altar space as well. Um, and just energetically, it's just a safe space really in general. I think
Mm.
that the energy stays positive there all the time, really. Um, but yeah, energetic circles, I do a lot of that there, and it's a space, like I said, where you can commune with the fairies or with any spirit guides. So I feel like they always are checking in on that for us as well. But yeah, definitely casting a circle around before you do any actual workings is always just good to do, so you don't get any unwanted visitors popping in.
Yes.
Because it is that tight, it's a space. Anytime I sit at my
Mm.
altar, it is
Mm.
a space out of the mundane world almost. We're doing some sort of magical working or communing, so it's always safe, always best to try and be safe, and
Mm.
yeah, just shield yourself a little bit, your aura and yeah, your energy, because it's out of the everyday.
Mm.
So, yeah, I consider myself, I've always considered myself a witch too, but I've never had consistent practices. I've tried, but it's just not natural for me. So I just, it's a lot of just internal for me and natural and as it comes. So I've heard of the term altar. If you're interested in witchcraft or magic, it comes about, but I it can also be very intimidating in different practices because different practices like ceremonial magic, it's very technical.
Yeah,
So I like your more intuitive approach. I mean, it's different for everyone, right?
yeah,
And
that's it.
then yeah,
It
my
doesn't be anything elaborate. It really doesn't. You can have literally a box, a tin, or like I said, nothing at all. You don't necessarily need really anything. It could be a picture, it could be a book, as long as you're making it sacred to you. Because unfortunately, some people just don't have access to certain things. And in some places, it's not actually safe for them to be openly having space like that. So you don't have to necessarily have anything elaborate, or it can be, as Claire's going to talk about, just out in nature. It can be
Mm.
yeah,
just something that's wild and free, and I think it's very individual, isn't it? Whatever you think
Yes.
fit you.
Yeah.
yeah. My understanding of an altar now, after I was looking into it a bit, is a working space versus
Yeah.
like a shrine where I guess a deity or whoever might just be honored or maybe live. Because I mean, Romans had altars in their house that they would leave offerings and such.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
yeah,
mean, I think
so there's definitely.
it's a combination of all of that. I do all of it in one space, but I do know of some people that do just have, say, a statuette of a fairy or a goddess, and that's all it is to leave offerings there, to sort of just come to the space to ask for help and leave offerings there. So that's what I mean. You can just create it however you see fit for purpose, really. And it's, yeah, doesn't have to be one altar fits all.
So Claire, you're more drawn to outdoor altar spaces.
Yeah, I mean, I have a little altar here, but it's like you were saying, Emma, it's very simple. It's a fairy statue, and then just sort of intuitively throughout the seasons, I'll put different things around her. So the moment I've got a ring of stones, that might change in autumn to some leaves and, bits of tree. But I just do that kind of intuitively with the seasons and think, oh, the
Yeah,
energy needs changing up now. To focus my energy on something different. So that's how I tend to work with it. Comes down to space as well, doesn't it? And
that's it.
because it could be on a shelf, it could be, like you're saying, Emma, it could be on a windowsill. It doesn't have to be a big, grand kind of thing. But yeah, nature alters. So I like to work very intuitively in nature. And so I have certain spaces, and I know we'll all have special spaces to us if we have any connection with nature, places we walk in regularly or visit, even places, from our childhood could be special places that we want to return to that we might not get to frequently in our lives, but when we go there, we know that there's a space we that's special that we'll go to. It could be a tree. So an outside altar could be on a tree stump. It could be on a flat stone beneath the tree, or it could be on a rock by a river. And what I tend to do is I tend to go for a walk, collect objects intuitively on the way. So maybe I pick up a feather, a nice stone, or some berries, and then that will become my altar space. And I'll just arrange those things. I might take some oracle cards with me and draw some oracle cards, sit and journal. The other thing that fairies like is sound. So high vibrational sounds. So like little, I know Anastasia, you were talking about a woodland that's near you that's got some bells. So I've got some little chimes to take with me, or got tuning forks that connect with the trees, that kind of thing. I've also got some bird whistles.
Yay!
I think they're quite fun. It's like anything that connects you with your childishness, because then it gets you into that vibration, doesn't it? The fairies
Yeah,
are in, that's that light-heartedness. It's good so offerings in nature, I try to keep it really eco-friendly. So obviously I don't take anything plastic with me. It's all natural. If I took a bowl with me, for example, it would be made of wood or metal or, ceramic. So it'd be something that if I forgot it and walked away without it, which I often do, then it doesn't matter. I can leave it there and it's not going to harm the environment. With offerings, they need to be, I think, biodegradable. So yes, take some cider or beer to pour on the ground, or just water's fine as well. It's the intention, isn't it? It's about the intention more than what you're offering.
Yeah.
Fairies love sparkly things. So if you find a sparkly stone on the ground, you can offer that to them. Crystals, I tend to take crystal chips because they disappear more easily into the earth. That's the way I see it anyway. You can bury a small crystal as well. But I think, well, they're part of the earth anyway, and doesn't matter if I leave them. But touch is a really good way of giving an offering. So I think something we forget to do is like touching nature. So you can put your hands on the ground and say a few words, or just give an intention through your touch. Trees like that, they like being touched, and rocks. I think we tend to think of rocks as unemotional kind of, there's nothing going on with them, but they've got a lot of energy going on with them as well, and they receive our intentions too. And we've spoken about stones, so yeah. Songs, anything that raises their vibration, so singing or offering a poem. Or a story. I've told stories in sacred places or on tours on Dartmoor, for example. So like old fairy stories, I really feel the fairies like hearing these stories about them.
I'm sure they
It's
do.
amazing how they come to you, isn't it, as well, when you're
Yeah.
out in a place like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just another way of communing that's quite playful as well. So yeah, and I just spend a bit of time there, and then either meditating or journaling or creating some kind of ritual, which will be spontaneous. I don't tend to work from books. I might get some ideas from books or other people, but it just tends to come from the moment, in the moment. What do I need? Yeah, so that's how I work with altars in nature.
That actually really resonated with me. Those special little places that you say in nature, I call those charged places. There's like charged with memories or emotions or experiences, and yeah, I love to return to those. It's like a comfort place too, to go to this familiar place in nature. And yeah, I will meditate sometimes, sit on a rock or something, and sing a little bit because, as you said, the fairies love music. So yeah. All right. I
But those
didn't realize I
places,
was.
you're familiar with the place, and it's like the place knows you as
Yeah, and
well.
you want to like
You definitely
keep a
sense.
rapport and establish a connection, a communication. Yeah. I feel bad when I haven't been somewhere in a long time, and I almost feel like you. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like a change in energy. I've had that recently. I went to a place where I hadn't been in a long time, and it almost felt very strange, like a different place. So maybe I neglected it.
Interesting. Do you ever feel like you're being welcomed back to a place?
Yeah. Yeah. And I
And
felt
when
weird when
you're
this one place felt very alien to me.
Yeah.
But when you said about touching trees as well, there's certain trees in places that I love to go that I literally almost feel like I'm embracing an old friend. Like I feel this urge to just touch it as I go past, or almost give it a hug. Certain trees, I'm just like, yes, it's me, I'm back again. And I don't know, I'll stand there for a couple of seconds and just, really connect with the tree. And it's just like you're saying hello to an old friend again.
It is, isn't it? And I really noticed that in my third eye as well, that something changes. There's a shift, when it's reciprocated, whatever you're offering. Sorry, I hope you can't hear this. There's someone outside strumming at the moment.
Can't hear it.
Noisily. I hope my microphone's not picking it up.
Well, I was just looking behind me because the new cat we've adopted today, starting
Yeah.
to just creep out from her little hidey spot
Oh,
a little
oh
bit.
wow. Oh, bless
Hearing you
her.
click, it's that.
Oh, bless. Yeah, so I was speaking about.
Well, Emma noted incorporating all the elements if possible in your home. And if you do it in nature, I mean, you get the advantage that most of them are already there.
Yeah.
Maybe not fire unless you bring a candle or something, but
Yeah, although I was going to say about that. So if you want to represent the elements, obviously with fire, best not to light candles in, in nature.
yeah, just to be safe.
Yeah, to bring just like a camping lamp or a battery powered lamp or a solar powered lamp, even better.
Yeah.
Something like that.
A light
I've
To
used
source.
a dragon figurine, like a dragon ornament as well, for
oh
fire.
yeah,
So you can take just like a
good.
little, or I've got crystals, like a crystal called a dragon's egg.
Mm.
Oh
And I've
yes,
taken that almost to represent fire. I mean, it might not obviously represent that to everybody, but for me, I thought, oh, fire. Can use a
yeah.
dragon figure?
And any yellow stone, actually, isn't it? Any orange or
Mm.
yellow stone represents solar energy. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Um, always, always ask permission to work with the space. That's really important with natural spaces, is to make sure you have some sort of relationship with the place first and to ask permission before you work with that space, and always say thank you. And obviously leave no trace when you leave, but yeah, thank the space. So yeah, and a fairy altar should be a retreat from the world.
Yeah.
Something else I was going to say.
Having like plants on, like living plants on your altar, or fresh flowers is really nice
Yes.
as well. They often quite like that. And ribbons, I always for fairy energy, I like you said, jingly bells or ribbon as well, little bits of ribbon. They like colour too.
Yeah. Some colour. Um I know, Emma, you mentioned about land spirits, about talking about your land spirit encounters. Have you got anything more to say about altars, or shall we
Um,
that? Because that kind of connects with.
yeah, I mean, it's so vast that you can. I mean, I've got stones from sacred places.
Yeah.
That is sort of sacred to me, like favorite bits of
Mm.
woodland and things like that, where I've been gifted stones or asked permission to take little bits. And if you're just out and about, and like I said, and you're on a walk and you find a feather or a leaf, or you go to the beach and you find a shell that you're allowed to take, you can put things like that on there as well. And obviously you can have your altar set up for particular fairies, if you want to communicate with pixies more, or elves, or whatever, you can sort of create
if
it
you're
to sit
Claire
around
Casely.
for them. Yeah, more.
Little
But the
tiny
land
one.
spirit.
That's a pixie?
Yeah. So
Oh my
look,
gosh.
it's got his. It's very tiny, but it's like you like these, Anastasia, where they're sitting
Yeah.
down.
Oh my gosh, I would make that into an earring.
It's really cute. Yeah, I know. He's not got a little
Oh, he doesn't
hook
have a
on
hook.
top.
Well, he's adorable.
Yeah, that's a lucky pixie. It's like you put it in
Aw.
your purse.
Your purse,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Sorry, Emma, you were saying about land spirits? Did you
Yeah,
just
well,
say?
I mean, the experience that you've just mentioned there, I think it's important as well to try and think of your all to be as high vibration as possible. You know, you try and keep it a positive space. But the land spirit encounter from the other day, that the spirit actually seemed quite dark at first. Had almost like a quite heavy, dense energy. But once myself and my friend sort of communicated with it, it wasn't at all. I mean, all, you know, especially fairies, seelie and unseelie court. Some of them do look a bit darker or seem a bit darker, but it doesn't necessarily mean bad. But this spirit had basically just been stuck here. It had been summoned a long time ago and not sent back home again. So it had sort of absorbed lots of earthly, dense energy over time and just couldn't get back. So we helped him go back home. So it was quite
How did
sad
your
ending.
how did your friend first notice that noticed the land spirit?
But they physically saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, physically saw it as just a bit of a dark shadow.
Mm.
At night time it was, and it sort of frightened her a little bit, so she blocked it, put some protection up and blocked it. But it came because it could see that she was able to
Mm.
listen, help send him home. But then he followed her back home after this trip, and I met up with her, and I think the same thing happened with myself, that the spirit could see, oh, I see another light here that she can hear and help. And yeah, it just took a little while to actually tap into the vibration, the energy of this being, to realize that they were just stuck here and actually really needed some help to get back home. So we were able to do that. And we actually asked how, or my friend did, how can we actually help you get back? And they said through a door in a tree.
Oh
So she was
wow.
able then, yeah, she was able then to call him back to her because he'd obviously come to me. She called him back and yeah, went to a piece of woodland and sent him home through this tree, and he just evaporated back into the tree.
Did you use your altar at all in this process?
I did, yes, because when it happened, I was at home and I was in another room of my home, and it was my cat actually that became aware of this
Of
energy
course.
before I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously once I sort of connected with him, because I do sort of well, we all do, don't we? We all sort of telepathically, really, I think, commune with our animals, don't we? We know what different calls mean and all of
Definitely.
that body
Yes.
language. They speak to us. Yeah, and I just sort of listened to him and then tapped in and thought, oh, okay, who's this outside? And it just went from there. But I did come to my altar space to help me strengthen the energy, strengthen, yeah, the
Mm.
protection, obviously, straight away to check that that was all safe and whatnot. And then it just helped us to actually figure out what was going on by being in I call it power space, because that's kind of what it is. It's like a zone to come and tap in if I need help, like I said, recharge, find peace, find some clarity. It's exactly what you said, the same as out in nature. It's just a space that is out of normal time almost.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was able to harness the energy more.
Yeah. Gosh. Did you get a feeling of what this being looked like? Size and things?
I
Or
did,
yeah.
but it was a bit scary. It sounds quite scary.
Mm.
It almost looked just shadowy, black, cloaked,
Mm-hmm.
the best way I can describe it. But human size. But just very dark. And obviously, anybody encountering something like that, it sounds scary. You think, oh, this isn't something that's necessarily good vibration. But it was just the earthly. I mean, this we all know how heavy and dense sometimes living on planet Earth can be. If you're sensitive as well, it can seem like quite a funny place to exist, can't it? When you're empathic and everything. It's hard not to take that on, but that's all it was really. It was
Mm.
ancient spirit of the land, and it had been summoned and then not sent back home. All that time wandering, sort of lost.
So interesting. I've been recently writing about the ancient land spirits that they were hooded. Have you heard of them, Anastasia? No,
Oh,
they're these they were represented in like Roman art, and they came in threes, and there was these hooded beings. So if people saw them nowadays, they might think they're like ghosts of monks, but they're
mm-hmm.
actually land spirits, and they're really ancient. They've got like a Latin name, which I can't remember off the top of my head.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
that's how.
interesting. There, I
Yeah.
know there's these Italian. They'd be, I think they're categorized as fairies or like goblins,
Hmm.
and I can't remember their name, but they're little monks. They call them little monks because they look like little hooded beings. Which I mean, Italy and Rome. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think I read
yeah,
about those earlier today when I
yeah.
actually
Yeah.
when I was just flicking through. So I was
Huh.
thinking about fairies related to altars, and then I just thought about elves actually, but
Hmm.
just because they're cool.
They are.
Yeah.
I wonder what's the deal with the hooded appearance?
Yeah.
Do you any clue why?
I don't know. That's just how they were represented. And the idea is that they're. I think it's because this is it. It's because they're connected with Celtic,
I was
the
thinking druids. Yeah.
Druids. Yeah, the
Mm.
Celtic belief that they would wear pointed hoods or hats.
Yeah.
And then the Romans came, and that kind of idea was, they overthrew that idea. So it represents the time before the Romans came to Britain. These are
Mm.
ancient spirits, and the idea is that the pointy hats influenced our idea of fairies having pointy hats, even though people obviously have seen fairies with pointed hats. Um, it's a very old idea that comes from these Celtic spirits of the land. Yeah, and they're probably older than that, but
Yeah. Witches have pointy hats.
Yeah, they do.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure what the pointiness is about.
I
Mm.
know that's a whole rabbit hole to go down because there's
Yeah.
Phrygian caps and as well. So
Mm,
Yeah.
yes.
that's cool though. Yeah.
So thanks for having me share that. But definitely I felt called to come to my water space for assistance, for like extra energy, and so I can focus. It's that place to focus on the intent, what you need.
Yes.
Yeah, that reinforces what
Yeah.
I was just looking at online, trying to wrap my head around what an altar might be as it being a working space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything, I just sometimes relax at it. So I suppose you do that in nature as well. Like you said, you meditate under the tree or
Yeah, and it's also, so there's an idea as well about sacred space. So your altar is within your sacred space, and that sacred space can be in the etheric as well. So this is an idea that comes from witchcraft,
yeah.
and so you can create a space in nature that is both in this realm and in the next. And so I've done that a few years ago, actually during lockdown, where I created a space in a woods where I could connect with my loved ones that I couldn't see because of the restrictions of lockdown. So I created a home in the woods. It wasn't, I knew it was a home. It was just like tree stumps, little, logs representing chairs. I did create like a fairy throne, and that was like my seat of power. So that was using things to represent a space where I could commune with people and loved ones that I couldn't actually connect with in reality. But there's another way to do that. So for anyone that can't get into nature for whatever reason, obviously you could do something in your garden, or if you're limited on space, you can create a space in the etheric. So that's where and it could be whatever you want it to be. I don't know if have you heard of this idea of creating a,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't.
Like an altar on the astral, like
yes, an
is
altar
how
on
I
the
would call it.
astral.
Yeah.
So it could be like, for anyone listening that doesn't know about this idea, it could be like a cottage, and that is your space that you go to through meditation, and you can plan it out. You can journal about it and say, well, it's got a log fire, it's got a garden, it's on my altars over in the sitting room, or you know whatever you want there. You can even have pets. So any like cats or whatever you want to have there. And then that's a space you can use as well. So it doesn't have to be, like you were saying, Emma, it doesn't have to be physical objects. It can
Yeah.
be something that
You can make it as private as that,
yes.
a secret, sacred place that is just for you. And you
Mm,
can make it whatever you want, which is
mm,
be on the astral like that.
yeah. And this book, which is one of my favourite fairy books, by Dane McCoy, it's called A Witch's Guide to Fairy Folk. As you can see, I've got lots of pages marked.
Yep.
Had this for a few years, but it's one of my favourite books for working with fairies. And she has that idea of the etheric astral space in there. Yeah, for anyone that
Just
wants,
saw that book at the shop.
it's a good one. It's a really good one. Her list of fairies, she's got like a dictionary of fairies at the back, but I didn't find that accurate. But her spells, her spell work, and how witches work with fairies is really, really interesting. So
Yeah.
I'd recommend it. Yeah. Mm.
And I'll just say as well about particularly if it's fairies, you can put a fairy door on your
Oh
altar,
yes. Yes.
and then that is an actual physical portal,
Mm.
physical doorway, almost to bring them through, connect with them,
Yes. I don't know
go
where mine
around.
is. Have you got one, Anastasia? A fairy door?
No, I'm scared of the fairies. I don't want them in here.
I was going to say about that, like, do always bear that in mind about doors
Yeah.
like that.
Hmm.
Yes, I had one by my bed a few years ago. It's gifted to me, and I had to put lots of crystals in front of the door because I had door knocking going on. And actually, that's not ended. It still happens when I talk about it, so I won't talk about it too
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
listening out right now for some knocks.
Can you
Yeah, well,
hear
I
some
was
knocks?
I was thinking for maybe some little extra bits for this episode. I could maybe talk about um, fairy altar uses to placate fairies so they leave you
Yes.
alone. Kind of in the Irish tradition or the Celtic tradition for
Oh,
Samhain.
yeah, that'd be so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keeping them happy is really important.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess to kind of wrap things up, I what are some ways, I'm wondering what are some ways that you would specifically use a fairy altar to, if you want to intentionally work with fairies, what would that look like? What were some reasons you would call on fairies or work with fairies? And yeah, specific tools I guess you would use for that.
Guess it depends on what you want to manifest. So, I mean, obviously, I've got a connection with pixies. You've got to be careful with pixies. So,
Yeah.
talking about protections, because I think we can get lulled into a false sense of security with some fairies and think, oh, they're our friends, but they're not. They're not our friends.
Well, it was like what I
They're
was thinking when
naughty.
Emma was telling her story. She's like, it looks really scary, but it's not. And the way I think of fairies is they just don't have the human moral compass.
Mm,
No, not at
Yeah.
all.
So
no,
they might not mean good or bad. They just don't. It's not a thing.
yeah.
Thing, yeah.
So, yeah. So I would use, for example, that's been a use of my altar. So I've been writing about pixies. I want to commune with them in a safe way. So I'd have all my protections and things, but I would have things representing them because I want to commune with them. I want to learn from them and connect with them. So that would be one way I do it. Or my fairy downstairs she's a white seated fairy, and for me she represents peace, and she's like a center of peace and healing. So I'd use that space for connecting, for bringing those qualities into my life. Calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've used it before, specifically with fairies for creativity. So I've actually left my sketchbook and some pencils and things on my altar space to
Mm.
sort of charge up and to ask them help me just to be a little bit more creative. And I quite often find you'll get down what I call downloads of information or inspiration that way. So you can leave like things like that on there. I've done it for a lot of inner child work as well, where I've called upon the fairies to help heal inner child wounds or just connect with that part of myself. Before, when I did that, I actually had a picture of me when I was a child, and I
Mm.
put it into, like, I suppose it was like a little spell jar, and I decorated all the inside with glitter and all
Mm.
lots of things that would have made little me really happy, and the fairies, because it was all sparkly and there was like little crystal chips and bits and bobs like that, and I left that on there. Um, So yeah, it's just the intention, isn't it? It's the intention, it's whether you need inspiration, help with creativity, help with healing, call upon them for different bits and bobs like that, or just communicating with them. But yeah, you have to be
Yeah.
cautious
Mm.
and
Yeah.
leave a gift for their help.
Yes, exactly. Leave a gift.
That's the must, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
sounds like for anyone maybe who's wants to get started, just to be intuitive, and it can be as spare or as intricate as you want. I think you guys have given really good suggestions for indoor and outdoor fairy altars, and I think we were probably going to link to a friend, a peer, Leaf, who has some information on fairy altars too, right?
Yes. I need to, yes, I think she said we could use her video. I need to go back to her and double check that we could
Okay. Yeah. So
incorporate
either
that.
link it or
Yeah,
add
I'll
it in.
link it. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
link it. Yeah.
Cool. Very good.
Yes.
I learned a lot. I learned that maybe I have some altar practices put in place and I didn't realize it.
That's good. Yeah. There you go.
And it's easier than I thought.
Yeah, I think that's the key. That's what I find with busy life, just to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah,
For
and
me, that's what,
fun.
yeah, and fun.
Loose and
Yeah.
natural and fun. And I think that's why some people don't actually do it, because it sounds really sort of big and scary, or like there's pressure to have all of these things on it, that you must have this, or you've seen videos of people's altar tours and they've got all of this stuff, but you don't need that. You just have whatever feels right for you, as much or as little, and whatever's safe as well. If it isn't safe or you're not able to access the space, have it on the astral, and you can have it however
Mm.
you want, and it's just completely private then.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think it's just fun to have like just a box with a collection of things that you've collected, natural objects, crystals, whatever, little charms even. This wonderful black cat charm.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
yeah, it's really cool.
it represents you, doesn't it, as well? Like
Yeah.
your heart, I think, part of you, things that bring you
Mm.
joy, make your heart and soul feel good, powerful.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I like your little collection of your little boxes of object. I don't know if this is still going on. I probably am gonna sound silly, but I'm gonna go for it. I think this is what the kids were calling goblin core. Just kind of embracing this like erratic collecting of bits and bobs and like a little snail shell and this and that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's just, wow, it's just magical, isn't it? It connects with
Yeah.
us with that childish kind of magic.
Yeah.
And I think
Mm.
it just helps,
Yeah.
like, when we're all busy as well, fast pace of life, just having that little space of joy and peace and
Mm.
calm. And obviously, if you do change it up with the seasons, it just helps you stay grounded in what is actually happening
Mm.
in nature as well. Stay
Yeah.
in tune with all of that
Yeah. Before
a
we
bit more.
go, I'll
Mm-hmm.
just show you this. So this is what I have on my desk. Just like a little
Oh, little
mini,
like
it's like
a
a
trinket tray
fairy.
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just like a little fairy trinket tray that I have crystals and charms and things in.
That is so
Beautiful.
pretty.
Yeah,
And that could be it.
yeah.
Hmm.
And it's just a reminder of the fairies.
Yeah. Awesome. That was a great topic, great subject. Thanks for sharing all your knowledge and insights. And I got a lot out of that after coming in with basically nothing, no knowledge.
Thank you for your questions, Anastasia. You're very good at asking questions and
Yeah.
keeping us on track. as well.
Been going, yeah. It's flowing.
Yeah. Right. Wow. Yeah. Once again, thank you guys for sharing your insights and knowledge on this topic. Thanks everyone for tuning in and listening. I hope you got a lot out of it, and definitely share any comments about what your altar looks like and how you practice these kinds of things. And yeah, for now,
Goodbye, everyone.
bye. Thank you for tuning in to What the
Thanks for
Fairy.
tuning in. Bye.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
next time.
See you next time.